The objects I have in front of me come from the very first collection that I curated, which was the toys and games and sports. And that was when I was just a small little associate curator, kind of working my way up. And I thought it was kind of cool that I got to work with the toy collection. The unfortunate part is that that's not a collection we see very much when we do exhibits. So I try to talk about those whenever I get a chance. And one of the first things I learned was the story of the game of life. I played the game of life when I was a kid, and I thought it was one of the best games ever, but I didn't really understand its origin. The origin really dates back to the 1860s. When Milton Bradley first founded his game company, he was a lithographer, and he decided he wanted to put out a game, but in the 1860s in very Puritan New England, you wouldn't play games. That was not a good thing. Unless there was some sort of moral lesson to be learned. That would be the only way we would play a game back in the 1860s, because otherwise it was considered gambling. So Milton Bradley came up with a game called the Checkered Game of Life. We actually have two of them here, which is really very fortunate for us in this collection, and they're very difficult to see because they're so worn. But in each instance, it's the checkered game of life, and the board opens up, and he built it as if it were a checkerboard. So I don't know if that's very visible with the lighting, but it looks like a checkerboard. And what Milton Bradley did was he alternated good spaces and immoral space, moral and immoral spaces, I guess is what you'd say. So you can either land on matrimony, moral, or gambling, immoral. And you worked your way up to the happy old age spot. That was your ending spot, and you got 100 points and you won the game. 100 years later, as the people at Milton Bradley are trying to find a way to celebrate that anniversary, they looked back in their archives and looked back at the very earliest days of the company, and they found this checkered game of life. And they thought it would be really interesting to now do a game that looks at the way life is today. Now, in the 1960s then, it would have been an opportunity to look at a whole different way of both playing games and what life was like. So we got the game of life in the 1960s. The game that I remember, Art Linkletter endorses it, big name, big family, child-friendly, very much the game of the century, I guess you might say. And this game, as we all remember, had a lot of plastic. It was very popular because it was very colorful, and you could have babies, and you could go through college, and there were all these ups and downs in life, and it really mirrored that. Since then, the thing that's really cool about this game that I think really tells us a lot about childhood and how we get to the notion of sometimes games are still learning processes is that over the course of time from 1960, this game of life, it was done in the 1980s. There's another version in the 1990s. They keep updating it to make it seem like it's mirroring life. You could still gamble in the 1960s game. In here, there's not much in the way, because you don't want kids learning that kind of stuff. So you teach them new values over here. So there's still that sense of moral decency in all three of the games, and it kind of follows. So I just think that curatorially, we get to look at stuff like this that makes it kind of exciting when we can draw that between society, as we know when we're going through classes and we're trying to understand what it means to be a curator. We're trying to do that material culture with popular culture and with all of the more important theoretical parts to the issue of curatorship. One of the things that's really cool is when we can actually use objects and make that point in a way that even kids would get. And we just put the game out there. So that's one of my favorite objects.